There's a woman called Gila Mandelson, a woman who grew up completely secular. She is a dating mentor, a dating coach. She knew nothing about Judaism until she was given a ticket to go to a wedding in Israel. She shows up in her jeans, and it's an Orthodox wedding. And her friend is telling her, you see the bride and groom under the chuppah? Yeah? They've never touched. They're about to touch for the first time tonight. And she's like in shock. That transforms her, and that starts a path of tshuva, where she ends up becoming Orthodox. And now she's getting ready to marry, to get engaged to her husband who's learning in yeshiva, I think Torah, right by the Kotel. She goes on to become a brilliant writer. And I want to tell you her personal experience. After more than enough dating, it was clear, Avraham, today my husband, was going to propose to me. Again, this is a woman who knew nothing, zero, about Judaism. But first, he told me protocol requires that I meet the head of his yeshiva. Yes, a man who's about to get married in Orthodox circles brings the prospective kala to his Rebbe. I'd like you to introduce my fiancée to be. I remember doing that with the Miller and my wife. She was petrified when she came to him on a Motzei Shabbat. But that's the accepted custom. You bring the kala to your Rebbe for a beracha and say this is, and then if he says it's a go, boom, done, right? Avraham led me into the Rosh Yeshiva's office. An imposing rabbinical figure sat behind a large desk. So you must be Gila, he said with a warm smile, immediately putting me at ease. He and Avraham exchanged a few words, and then my soon-to-be fiancée walked out. Still smiling, the rabbi asked me a little bit about myself, just to make small talk. There was a pause. The Rosh Yeshiva leaned forward in his chair, and he gazed at me intently. So he said, Gila, tell me something. What's your definition of love? Good question, no? Oh, I wasn't prepared for that kind of question. So listen to what she says to him. Love is the feeling that you have when you feel like you have that feeling. She knows now she's blowing it. And she says to herself, I was so embarrassed. Here I am getting ready to be married, and I have no idea how to define what love is. She quotes a secular magazine that says, love cannot be defined. And she says, in my humble opinion, this is absolute nonsense. And depressing, because if you can't define what love is, how can you pursue it? If I don't know what it is, how can I go about getting it? Having removed the obstacles, you simply sit back and hope that it'll hit you in the head? No, it doesn't work that way. First of all, love is more than a feeling. It has to be. For feelings alone cannot establish a lasting bond with anyone. Physical attraction is important, but physical attraction, as many people know only too well, can also unconsciously draw you to a lousy human being, a grown-up baby, an abuser, or someone just totally wrong for you. Just all you have to do is go to your nearest supermarket, check out the newspaper area, and look at the latest National Enquirer 60-day wedding from Hollywood, or a 30-day wedding. And even if being with that person feels good, feelings are fickle. They're here today and gone tomorrow. So you can't base your definition of love on a feeling. It's got to be based on something else. This is her coming to her own conclusions. Before losing your head, you have to delve into the other person and find out who they are. What are their character and values about? Identify his or her virtues. And they have to be rooted in a system so strong to withstand temptation that they're not going to cheat on you. It doesn't make a difference if the man or woman are liberal or conservative, deliberate or spontaneous, extroverted or introvert. That's not as important as whether are they caring, are they loyal, are they patient, are they responsible, are they honest, are they willing to work things out, are they morally unshakable. That's what you need for a long-term relationship. That's what makes a marriage stick. And if you don't have these elements, you have a problem in terms of having a relationship and a marriage that's going to go the long haul. Love is not just about finding the right person, but it's about being the right person, which is why in Judaism we have so many books dedicated to character improvement, otherwise known as Musar. Don't go looking for Mr. and Miss Perfect if you're not there. Which means, if that's what you want, you better get to work. In addition to seeing the good in each other, love requires that you remain focused on it. It's not just something it's autopilot. It takes work. You get married and you work on the marriage. In short, love is a discipline. So I'd like, she says, to explain to you how the Rosh Yeshiva that day defined love for her. After she told him the answer with the feeling and the feeling. I'd rather define it much as my husband's Rosh Yeshiva did. Love is the attachment that results from appreciating deeply someone else's goodness. That's love. I appreciate someone else's goodness. It's not just a feeling and a passion. Love is a system of attitudes and a series of acts which engender growth and enhance life. I once met the perfect couple, Linda and Larry. They were on the same page virtually in everything. They both enjoyed travel. They both had the same political outlook, diet, the environment, you name it. Never saw two people so made for each other. And they seemed so happy together. It was enviable. And now Larry and Linda are divorced. Why? Despite their amazing compatibility, why didn't their marriage last? Neither Larry or Linda possess the ethic of striving to improve themselves. Which means if you're not working on a system of self-growth, you have a problem. You've got to be working on your midot, your character. If you got an issue with anger, you got to check that. You have an issue with generosity, work on that. You have an issue with patience, work on that. The better you work on it, the better you become likable. The more magnetic you become to others. They never saw marriage as a path to commit to and work on, which means they just let it go and it deteriorates. Turn around and you lose it. To succeed in love, we must remain focused on what matters most, character and values. And that's important. Except character doesn't sell. Imagine Cosmopolitan magazine running a header in the summer. Selfish binges, kick the habit away and drive a man crazy with your morality. It's not happening. So, let's talk about another area which I need to focus on a little bit. Imagine yourself in the following situation. You and the stranger are having a heated argument. Tempers are rising and you're practically shouting at each other. Things are getting out of hand. Your opponent interjects, hold on, let's try to calm things down. It doesn't work, you're still furious. Suddenly, you feel powerless to continue as he puts his hand on your shoulder. Your anger abates and you concede, even resentfully, to the suggestion, just because he touched you. Physical attraction is important, but physical attraction, as many people know only too well, can also unconsciously draw you to a lousy human being, a grown-up baby, an abuser, or someone just totally wrong for you.